This is from, what is it called? How the right-wing media has tried to stifle students' speech at Evergreen State College. Subtitled, a slanted version of the events at Evergreen State College keeps driving the conservative news cycle. All while students suffer, by Noah Berlatsky. Now, Noah Berlatsky, after I read this, I declared that he's full of crap, and I was not disagreed with by my friends. One of my friends, yeah, I'm live. One of my friends, she wrote a whole Twitter thread. Her name's Keiko. I always mispronounce her name, but she finally corrected me for the 5th time. Anyway, so Keiko went through and she did her whole rebuttal of this article, which is full of facts, full of the opposite of facts, full of falsehoods. And I went through and I read it, and I kind of said as much to this guy named Noah Berlatsky, and he got really mad at me. He called me Brett Weinstein dittohead. Here's Brett Weinstein, and I'm a dittohead because all I do is copy Brett Weinstein. That is all I do. And then another one of my Evergreen friends said, oh, he's just full of crap or whatever. I'm like, actually, he's probably on the Evergreen payroll because I don't have it pulled up. Do I have it pulled up? George Bridges, he came out with his, I can't just scroll around my desktop. There's sensitive information on there. But George Bridges had his year review, and he submitted his year review. And part of his year review was that 50 students and 4 faculty have been writing all these articles for media. So I'm like, well, maybe he's just on the Evergreen payroll. And this Noah Berlatsky guy, he got really upset with me. And he called me an asshole, and then he blocked me on Twitter, which I thought was funny because I thought that a journalist, I mean, this is the Pacific Standard, but who knows what standards mean at this institution. I thought it was kind of it's supposed to be journalism, supposed to be something fact-based, but he doesn't care about facts, and he doesn't care about being corrected. Actually, he's gone on a spate, this Noah Berlatsky guy. You can follow him on Twitter, but I don't want you guys to go after him. He's just a dude. Anyways, so this is full of crap, and I did a whole episode where I went through this whole thing and point by point refuted it in my rambly Boycean fashion. He even quotes me in here. So he actually quotes me, calls me a ditto head for Brett Weinstein, but Brett Weinstein's retweeting me. Brett Weinstein's retweeting me. I'm not retweeting Brett Weinstein. Anyways, I went through and I read this whole thing. And I didn't have the audio recorded, so I missed out on a video this week. And my brain, I have to tell you guys, my brain is it's not working right now. I don't even feel bad about it. Like I did an episode, Is Feminism Cancer or something like that, where I felt really bad about the fact that my brain wasn't working. I don't even feel bad about it. I don't even have the energy to feel bad about it. I'm on vacation this week, just mental vacation. I can't help it. And I apologize for that, so that's why I'm plugging in you guys and checking in, and I will get to the chat in just a second. One more last thing I'm going to say about this article is that they tried to correct it. Update, June 15th, 2018. This article has been updated to reflect the full name of Evergreen State College. Well, let me tell you what, it's the Evergreen State College. So your correction is incorrect. Anyways, that's enough about that. Let's check out the chat, see how you guys are doing. How are you? Like I said, my brain's dead. I got a beer and another one right over there. My name was dropped on a Federalist article about this. It was! And I'm going to talk to the guy who wrote that Federalist article and see if he won't let me do an interview with him. Because he's an artist and a conservative, and I want to broaden my horizons. I want to talk to transgender rights activists. I want to talk to conservatives. I want to talk to foofy liberals. I want to talk to hippies. I just want to talk to people who have ideas, who think through things. So it doesn't matter what your ideas are or where they're headed, what they're about. I just want to expand that. So it'd be nice to, if I can convince him of my integrity, or at least my interestingness or my articulation skills, maybe he'll come on. So we're live. Big Pete, 1:45 in the morning, and I can't sleep, so I'm checking in on American politics. Big Pete, what do you think about American politics? There's something about babies being separated from their parents. I've been really selfish and brain dead and not looking into that, and I probably should, because it's probably pretty egregious, and I'd probably have a lot of feelings about that. Hey, Godiva, 7721. I wish I was Godiva-ing right now, and not reference to the chocolate, but reference to the naked lady, because it's freaking hot in here. Maybe I could just take my pants off. Nobody would know the wiser because I never shoot below probably right at my sternum. I mean, I've shown my fleshy stomach every once in a while, but nobody's seen below the waist on me. So I kind of want to Godiva because it's so freaking hot in here. Michael Piscarino says the Boycean method. Step 1, read. Step 2, read. Step 3, video. Step 4, read. Step 5, do a little writing. 6, cats. Step vacation. Sometimes I do songs. Though I make them private after a while because I get that inevitable, this is not your audience, go away with this stuff, make a second channel stuff. I'm like, well, fuck it. I just was trying to, it was like that canary thing, to let people know that I'm not dead and I haven't been like abducted by the Evergreen Board of Trustees, Gestapo. Like, so I just like put something out. I know sometimes they're turds, whatever. That's what I do. Anyways, Jessica McAllister. Thank you for loving my live shows. I want your kitties to play with my kitties. Let me tell you what. Can I talk a little bit about my cats? We have some cat politics going on. I don't know what's going on at the border, but I do know what's going on in Olympia. So we have 2 cats. We have a girl cat, Bijou, and a boy cat, Bjorno. And they're about the same age. Bjorno came from under a porch, and Bijou came from a horse barn. We got Bijou about 6 months after we got Bjorno. We nursed Bjorno. He was like 4 or 5 days old. And we nursed him into the wonderful creature he is. And then like about 5-6 months later, we got Bijou. And Bijou immediately went into heat. And then we had her ovaries removed. And then she almost died. She just like went into this like weird state where she couldn't eat and stuff. And she was like hacking up all this stuff. And we spent like $1,200 on her, right? This new cat. And now she's fine. She had shaved things, but then they grew in. Anyways, so Bijou's like, she just zoobs around. We call her the Zuba. And she just like zoobs around the house and she's like, what's going on in here? What's going on over there? I'm going to lay right here. What's going on over here, right? So she's just doing the zoob. Then Bjorno's like, he's like either like just like napping or he's out in the forest, like killing things, then bringing them in, beheading them, or giving them to Bijou to behead, right? But Bjorno just hasn't been around. Bjorno's been showing up at like 3:30 in the morning or 6:30 at night to eat, and then he goes back out. I think he's working on like his life's work because his name's Bjorn Nietzsche. I think he's like writing some sort of feline, thus sprach Zarathustra. Either that or he's just like raiding like this intersectional like tunnel system in the forest somewhere, but I don't know where he is. I think he's really enjoying himself and stuff, but we kind of miss him. So that's cat talk for tonight. Dr. Johnny Asshole, did you just get a PhD? I remember the doctor part before. Benjamin Boyce, Lindsay Shepherd is suing. Oh yeah. Oh, that's the episode I was going to do instead of talking to you guys live. I hope they get dragged through the mud again. Let me tell you about, I only glanced through this Lindsay Shepherd WLU lawsuit, and I don't know if like Canadian law is different than American law, but this thing reads like fucking tabloid. It's like really, whoever wrote this thing is using a lot of adjectives and is like framing it in a very emotional tone. So it's kind of weird. So it's going to be an interesting thing to read out loud. I still want Lindsay Shepherd on my show to give me an interview, but I think that'll be put off indefinitely because she probably can't talk about anything now that she's suing the college. But yeah, I'm going to go through that. Maybe I'll go through it and read it, depending on if I have the inspiration or not. But it looks like an interesting kind of lawsuit. And the problem with reading a claim like it's like I don't hear both sides of the story. These are the allegations, right? So I can't really make any judgment on the matter because these are just the allegations. What's the other side of the story? Because there's always going to be more than one side of the story, right? Nobody's purely good, purely evil, right? Evil, I'm sure Lindsay Shepherd can be criticized and through that criticism can be made a better person. I'm sure that Rambukkana can take some of the criticism that he's gotten, which has been heaps and heaps, and make something better of himself. I'm sure that's possible. If people are willing to change and stuff. So anyways, I was just saying that because if we only read her side of the story, we're not getting the actual story. And that's kind of why I'm hitting a wall with this evergreen story. And I know I should be working on the documentary and stuff, but I'm waiting for some sort of insight into this. I'm waiting for some sort of perspective that allows me to see it in a way that we have not seen this evergreen story before. Okay. So 90% of people think that Evergreen's fucked and should just be bulldozed, right? Those people are not really interested in the story. They're interested in the entertainment value of the story. And that's fine. I love you guys. If you're in that camp, that's great. Because I'm going to show you exactly how this college imploded. Like that's the payload. The implosion is the payload. But how the structure got so weakened and what part of this institution were weakened. Like that's what I need to see. I need to really understand and get more connections at Evergreen to really understand the atmosphere and the momentum of whatever ideas were in place and the personalities in place, right? Because we're talking about thousands of people, right? We're talking about hundreds of staff and faculty, thousands of students. There's a lot of moving parts in there. It's not just like, oh, there's this thing called Day of Absence where the white people were kicked off campus, which isn't true, but that's what people say. Day of Absence, white people kicked off campus. Or the other side says, like this article, His is the other side. It's so boring. It's like, oh, Brett Weinstein went on Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson is neo-Nazi, therefore Brett Weinstein is neo-Nazi. It's like, okay, that's one way of painting this, but like why? The real question that I want people to be talking about, like why do people of certain races feel the need to make a stand and like really just get some attention based on their characteristics? And is there not something that we can do as a society to just recognize people in their certain characteristics and their historical stuff? There's a conversation about Day of Absence, and there's a conversation why a liberal professor cannot talk to Tucker Carlson. What does that say about American political discourse that these two people cannot speak with one another without this person over here taking on all the worst possible things that you can attribute to this person? What is that weird osmosis stuff that's going on there? So there's all this stuff, and to cut this tirade short, and then I'll go back to the scrolling text walls of wonderful people interacting with me. The other thing is that you can totally make a story too complex and too ambiguous, and then you don't have a story anymore. Like I said a long time ago, context is infinite, but a story is lean. A story is just it's very selective, and it does have a bias for the story. It's got a beginning, a middle, and an end, and it sends the viewer through this journey, right? I want to make sure that when we're going on this journey through Evergreen, it feels more like, we're going through Middle Earth rather than we're just going through a tunnel of hate and destruction, right? I want our road to Mordor to be filled with wonderful and weird not representations of just good and evil, dark and light, bad elves or bad orcs and good elves, or bad elves and good orcs, or whatever, right? So anyways, let's go back to this. Michael Piscarino sent me a sun with a box with an X on it that I think is just a computer glitch. Maybe there's a push to make it all POC. I thought that, and I don't think so. I don't think they're thinking that far ahead. Hi, Triggerati. Giselle F. Gawker's Death Rattle. Evergreen should be bulldozed, just repopulated with less insane people. Shouldn't be bulldozed, yes. Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. And plus, this is kind of a gambit, and maybe I shouldn't say this out loud. If I can tone down, well, I think my rhetoric's been pretty even. I haven't made myself a victim, and I've held a lot of stuff back, and yeah, I've gone after George, and I've denigrated George quite a bit. But I think that if I can really just show people that I do want to tell the whole story, that I think the Evergreen, the model of education has a lot of promise, then they'll be more willing to talk with me than they are now. And it's been paying off, I'll tell you that much. Snowy Peanut came in a little late, but great discussion. It has been on everybody's minds lately. I've been asked my opinion on this as well. You have hit it well. Thanks for the live feed. I miss what you're talking about. It has been on everyone's minds lately. What are we talking about? The babies at the border? Because I just don't know what to say about that. Babies on the border. Babies on the border. Miss their mama. Babies on the border. Snowy Peanut. Snowy Peanut, could you tell me what it is in your comment? And there's a delay, so I'm sure you're typing that out right now. I'm just going to sing Babysitter in the middle of the pizza while we're waiting. Babysitter in the middle of the pizza. Babysitter in the middle of the pizza. Babysitter in the middle of the pizza. What you doing? What you doing in the middle of the pizza? Watching TV in the middle of the pizza. Watching TV in the middle of the pizza. Watching TV in the middle of the pizza. What's on the TV in the middle of the pizza? Al Pacino's on the TV in the middle of the pizza. I'll stop now. I'm sorry. It's a stupid song. I made it up for a 4-year-old who said babysitter's in the middle of the pizza. Anyways, Gawker's death rattle. Truthfully, it sounds like the main fault at Evergreen is George and people using his apparently deep manipulability to their ends. You know what? Gawker's death rattle. There is a story at George that I just found out about. George taught at this private college named Whitman College. Whitman College is, I think it's in the place where Walla Walla onions come from. So it might be from Walla Walla, Washington, or might not. Anyways, it's a small private college in eastern Washington, I believe, southeastern Washington. And right before he quit, there was a website where people were chatting on the website. And somebody said something that was inane. Some white guy, some white student said something, and it sent everybody off. And I think, I'm sorry I don't have all the facts on this, but I think a teacher saw that and started circulating that. I don't have that, so let that go. Anyways, so the same exact thing that happened with Chiave a year ago at Evergreen happened at Whitman right before George left, right? There was some guy who sparked this whole thing, and then there was campus unrest, and people was like, we got to do all this diversity stuff, and da 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 da. And I don't know the whole story and stuff. I just know that there's a pattern of George Bridges. There's just some things about George Bridges that I don't quite get. And I know he's just a human, but there's certain behaviors that he has that make me very concerned about him having so much authority and a position of power and institutional leverage and all that stuff. But I do want to say this one other thing about Evergreen stuff. So I don't know how long any given one of you has been watching the Evergreen story unfold on my channel, but there were two people from the drama last year. One was Chiave Duiva, and he wrote this Facebook post that was making fun of a Facebook post by another very prominent protester. And Chiave's Facebook post basically sparked the whole protest. And there's a whole series of events. Anyways, because of that Facebook post, Chiave was given a no contact order. He couldn't go to any of the actual events on campus. He couldn't go to any lectures just in case he actually ran into some of the people that he was having a problem with that turned out to be key protesters, right? Same thing with this other guy, Nolan Lies. And Nolan Lies, or Lies, he was writing Limp Bizkit did nothing wrong, right? Or Brett Weinstein should open up for Fred Durst or something like that, right? He was just doing nothing, and he got assaulted repeatedly. He was given a no contact order, right? Nolan Lies, Chiave Duia. They were given no contact orders, basically saying that they have to stay in their rooms for the rest of the quarter, right? So the people who actually get the negative, they get the law, they get the punishment, because they're law-abiding citizens, they end up staying in their room, while there's people running around with bats who are breaking the law, right? Who probably have no contact orders themselves, but they ignore the law. So the lawbreakers ignore the laws, while the people who believe in the law are the ones who actually get punished by the law. I just think that's freaking weird and fascinating. That's all I had to say about that. So let's check in. We were talking to Snowy Peanut, and I don't think he's answered me what it is. Sorry, hotel Wi-Fi. Oh, okay. I haven't been talking about hotel Wi-Fi, Snowy Peanut. Oh, by the way, on Saturday, this past Saturday, we had a Centrist Salon. Me and you, or the select few of you who were able to make it, or were willing to make it, willing to look me in the face and say, Benjamin, you need to stop mispronouncing my favorite word, or whatever you wanted to say to me. Anyways, nobody corrected my grammar for the whole evening. I was corrected on something, or maybe a couple things. But it was a great time. We met at a bar, well, a tavern or a pub or whatever. And it was great. And we're going to do another one of these, me and whoever can show up, this coming Sunday on the 24th in Portland. I don't know where yet. I need to talk with my friend, but that's the night before the Jordan Peterson event. And so I might be at that I will be at that Jordan Peterson event on the 25th, which is a Monday. And if you guys are going to there in Portland, that's great. Or if you can't make that, there'll be another meetup. And then on the 5th of July in Seattle, there'll be another meetup. So what happened on Saturday was kind of just a meet and greet. And I don't know how long like something like this would happen or would actually take off, just as like a reason for people to come together and chat over beers. There might need to be some sort of, a theme or something to talk about or something like that. So we'll see how it develops. But for the time being, it's kind of just an open forum for people, not just to like me. I'm nothing but the intersection, but for people who are interested in these ideas, who feel out of place in the lib bubble or whatever it is, who are interested in the topics that I'm trying to talk about. It's just a chance for you guys to meet each other and to start making connections and start networking for people who don't want to be stuck necessarily in any given category, whether that be pro or anti bulldozing evergreen. All right, Snowy Peanut, hotel Wi-Fi was my issue of being laggy. Not your issue, lol. But, okay. What's the issue? I was referring to the right-wing, left-wing media argument. It's hard when you have a huge number of people on one side or the other and expect you to be on their side. That problem, and the problem is that what causes people to create a side is a very simplistic version of events. They take some sort of activity or event and they turn it into a flag. They reduce everything, or this key issue, they reduce it into primary colors. And we all know that life's black and not black and white, and the next step to overcome is like, yeah, life's not all primary colors. There are like shades and hues and shaders and layers. Once you get into like the high level thinking, right, you're working with Photoshop views of life with all these layers and masks and all these like curvatures of colors and sharpnesses and blurrinesses, or Gaussian blurs or whatever like that. So the first step is say, okay, it's not black and white. There's some gray. Okay, well now we have color. Well, it's not just hard color. It's like, you guys get my metaphor. And the thing is that when we start to rally around and start to form a group, we have to necessarily reduce things into like blocky, chunky, cartoonish components. And that's the thing with this whole, well, whether it's like the centrist salon or the moderate meetup or the intellectual dark web or the heterodox academy or any of these groups, it's like as soon as people start forming groups, like, well, how do we keep this alive? How do we keep this dynamic? What is our goal? What is our process? What are we working toward? That's one way to save it. Or do we just like each other and beer? Kapow, my stream is jumpy. Kapow, can anybody say if my stream is jumpy? Because I saw the last stream was really jumpy too, and I did not like that. I have to fix this because contacts and stuff. Where are we? Here we go. There we go. I have to go over here and see if I am uploading or downloading anything. I look smooth. I'm jumpy. Everybody's saying it's jumpy. Okay. Okay, so the investigation to Juno Diaz turned out to find absolutely nothing on him. That's interesting. I'm glad I didn't make that episode because I really don't like his writing. I think he just plays into that identity politics so much. So it's kind of like stupidly, because I'm partisan too, like clapping along with his demise at the hands of identity politics. I'm really jumping. Oh, it's OBS. They've been having a fit. Himdall's Gate, are you talking about your bowels? Or are you talking about me? Smooth. Because I go over to the website, the YouTube website, and it looks like, there's delay, but it looks like I'm kind of smooth. So maybe it'll be fixed in post. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't be so jumpy or kind of move like this so you guys get the really fun animations. I don't know. Dr. Janny asshole, you know what? I'm sorry. I read him in a college course and I was really disappointed with the whole course, and like he was just the breaking bit for me. Juno Diaz was just the breaking bit for me. It was the breaking hay on my camelback. It just like really upset me. So, what else do I have to talk about before I go? Because I don't know how long I've been talking, and I can only talk so long. I was trying to watch these like 3-hour talking fests, these 3-hour streams. You guys watch those 3-hour streams? Kind of weird to me that people would watch that, but you guys watch me. But the people who can do this stuff are pretty cool. I guess they have like friends that they do it pretty awesomely. Dr. Johnny Asshole, I've only read that Oscar Wow one. Too long, 24 minutes. What was the worst thing being at Evergreen? I'll tell you the best thing being at Evergreen. No, I won't tell you. The best thing about Evergreen was the college girls with pajama bottoms. Because you want to love them, but they'll give you problems. Worst thing about Evergreen is the college girls with pajama bottoms, because you want to love them, but they give you problems. That's my bullshit answer. Crucify Robin Hood. If a U.S. citizen endangers a child by crossing even a state border to commit a crime, they lose their child. Why made exceptions for Mexicans? See, I don't know the whole thing. I know that the optics are really bad and children are precious. That's all I know. I'm not going to get into that debate. I need somebody to actually tell me about it. So rather, I need to do an interview with probably 2 or 3 people with differing views on that to really form an opinion on that. Gawker's Death Rattle. Here's to swimming with the bow leg women. I don't even know what that means, but I like the way it sounds. Are you telling me to shut up? Or we're not? Fossil fuels. Santa Bacon, I've been running a few streams via OBS. It sucks on YouTube, but works well enough on Twitch. I'm a cynic, but I blame YouTube. They're an easy target. They are. Maybe I should get like some sort of different recording software to work with, or do that Google Hangout thing. Can you do a Google Hangout stream? Something. Anyways, once we devolve into tech support, that means that basically I have nothing left to say. I did want to check in. Like I said, my brain is just flatlining right now. I don't have any passion and I don't have any inspiration. And I don't want to just rehash myself, though I got like a huge bump in subscribers because of all the Evergreen footage. So I should just pump out a bunch more Evergreen stuff. I guess that would be the correct response in a living live YouTube environment to do. But I just wanted to let you guys know that I am pretty good. I'm just a little slow right now. This is probably, it's been like a week since I produced anything, I feel like, which is unacceptable. And I know it's unacceptable. But I'm going to go. And thank you, Crucify Robin Hood, for letting me do that, because he said, cool little stream, Benjamin. Thanks. Thank you, Crucify Robin Hood. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for everybody. And I promise those in the future that are watching this that I will do a morning episode for all those British girls who I bet their skin is just so creamy like a pastry. But I don't want to like be racial or anything like that. Just like British girls. Just like so creamy. I'll have to edit that out. I'm gonna get out because I'm not saying things that are correct. Good night, y'all. I love you. Expect something soon. I don't know what it'll be, but I'll do something soon.